Hey guys, I finally made some time to try and record a video. This might be really short because I have my newborn to the left of me in the swing sleeping. So if you hear cooing and grunting and all that, that's him. And then my older son is taking his nap right now. And I didn't feel like cleaning, which is usually what I try to do when they're both sleeping, so I'll do that tomorrow. And I really wanted to try and record some videos for you guys. So I think I'll do my labor story. I've had a couple of people request that I talk about that. So I'll do that while I'm chewing gum, and hopefully you can hear the crackling of the wooden wicks in this candle. So I had my son on March 16th at 7:10 p.m. or 7:12, excuse me. That morning, around 2:30, I woke up to go to the bathroom and my leg was soaked. I looked and my mucus plug had popped out. So I called my husband and told him to come home from work so that we could prepare to go to the hospital. Thankfully, I had finished packing literally like the weekend before, because the hospital that we go to, you're basically locked in with your whoever your plus one is until you're discharged. You can't leave for food, you can't leave for anything. So we got there, they checked, and of course I wasn't dilated just like before. And they had scared me because they told me that he was only 5 pounds 10 ounces, so he didn't really grow for my last checkup, which was at 36 weeks. I had him at 39 weeks in a couple days. So I was waiting in triage. Thankfully, the nurse that kept checking in on me was really cool. We got talking and said a little prayer because I wanted to do a natural birth, like my first son, but unfortunately, I had a fibroid that was partially blocking my birth canal, and it did not move like they were hoping it would. But they did say that we could try to do a natural birth first and then cesarean if need be. But my biggest fear was I didn't want to go into an emergency C-section, which unfortunately ended up happening. But we get into the labor and delivery room, we get situated. The nurses and staff, everyone was really sweet, except when I had any kind of men come in. The females were pretty much amazing. And then the men just came off kind of grumpy. It was a male anesthesiologist, if I'm saying that right, who gave me my epidural, and he had a female that was training. She did a great job. Unfortunately, the epidural, for whatever reason, wore off, and I could still feel the contractions. I was contracting, but I wasn't dilated. So, I'm sorry. The head doctor, Dr. Urban, I guess he's been a doctor with them for like 20, 30 some years. And his skill is cesareans. So when he was coming in the room to check on me, I wasn't really excited about that. He literally walked in, never made eye contact with me, looked at, like didn't say anything to me. Just gloved up and then checked if I was dilated, and it was really awkward and it was painful and I wasn't dilated. But every time I was contracting, my son's heart rate was dropping, and that's because his head was trying to push through, but I wasn't dilated. So at one point towards the end of all this, the room filled up with about 15 people, and I had a doctor come down, crouch down beside me as they're putting an oxygen mask on my face. And sorry, I still get a little emotional about it. She told me that I was gonna have to go into an emergency C-section, and my husband couldn't be with me. So they started to explain to him that he had to stay, and they start wheeling me out. I start bawling because it was my biggest nightmare, my worst nightmare. Everything I did not want to happen happened. And so they wheel me in, and they're trying to get me to calm down because I'm bawling and I'm hyperventilating, and there's about 30 people in the room. 10 of them grab from side to side and lift me onto the operating table, and everyone's kind of going back and forth with each other, and it felt so chaotic, and it freaked me out even more. And eventually one of the nurses yelled, "Everybody stop." The room got quiet, and she said, "She's still feeling contractions, everyone needs to get on the same page," something like that. And the anesthesiologist, the male that was who was there when they administered the epidural, was in the room and confirmed with me that I was still feeling contractions. And he explained to me, as he put this weird contraption underneath my neck, that once he pulled the trigger, it was going to hit me underneath my neck and I was going to knock out. They had to knock me out for the C-section. So I felt them grab my stomach, and it felt like they were starting to cut, and I kind of freaked out and yelped that I can still feel it. And he pulled the trigger and woke me up, or knocked me out. And then I remember coming to, it was going on 10 o'clock. And the nurses were there, and they were explaining all the different drugs they had me on. I felt so out of it. I didn't like how I felt, but they had me on 4 or 5 different things, so it just wasn't a good feeling. I didn't like feeling not in control of my body at all. But they explained that he came out, and that he was good, and my husband got to see him, and that they had him ready to give to me once they were going to wheel me over, but they wanted to explain to me that it took them 2 hours to get me to be stabilized. He came out in 10 minutes, and I started losing a lot of blood, almost 2 liters. They said that I was very close to getting a blood transfusion, which I agreed to, if need be. And they said they had to put me on a ventilator to keep me going, which was really scary to hear. I didn't think that, being 6 weeks, today actually, that he's been with us, that it would still affect me like this to talk about it, but it does. It's scary. I definitely don't want to have any more kids, because now I'm in fear of C-section. So, but he's a good, healthy little boy. Doesn't let me sleep, except occasionally. He's very loved, very talkative, observant like his brother. His brother loves him very much. So while he was worth it, again, I'm not. 2 boys, 2 kids, that's enough for me. I'm terrified, even if, we tried for a 3rd kid. If I ended up having to schedule a C-section because of this fibroid, that my body wouldn't handle it and it would be bad for me. And I don't want to die giving birth. I know it's silly, but that's one of the things that's scared me for my whole life. I remember watching Lifetime stories. I probably shouldn't have been, but my mom allowed me when I was young, like under 10. And seeing like back in the 1600s, the mothers were dying when they were giving birth, and that always freaked me out. So, I know it's a silly fear, but I think I came too close to living that, and I think 2 kids is good enough for me. So, that is my labor story. I know it's probably, if you're listening to this, instead of dozing off, it's probably not very relaxing. But, I know that some people like to hear about it. I know talking about it, the doctor had came in to visit me, and I got to thank her for, saving him and me. And she did say that it's good to talk about it and never really hold it in. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. I will continue to try to find time to record other videos. Until then.